The ministry has approximately 160 persons employed. 35 of those individuals are ranked at mid to senior management. 72 persons are ranked as technical officers. 22 persons serve as clerical, secretarial, and support staff, and 25 persons serve in maintenance and general service support roles. The ministry is headed by a permanent secretary who is an appointed public officer, and its political agenda is represented by a minister of cabinet, which is appointed by the Governor General on advice of the Prime Minister. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture was established in 1974, approximately 44 years ago. It was mandated by an Act of Parliament, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Act of 1974, and its role is to coordinate political programs related to youth, sports, and cultural development in the Bahamas. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has three main divisions: the Youth Division, Cultural Affairs Division, and the Department of Sports. Additionally, the ministry has under its portfolio 4 quasi-departments, namely the National Sports Authority, the Clifton Heritage Authority, the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation, also known as AMMC, and the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas. The vision of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture is an active nation with a culturally strong identity and empowered youth, while its mission is to provide all people in the Bahamas with access and opportunity through programs and services designed to positively contribute to all aspects of youth development, sports and recreation, and the Bahamian culture for an enriched quality of life. I'm John Darville.
And I'm Ingrid DeVoe.
And I'm Jessica Ferguson.
And this presentation will feature an organizational communication assessment and professional development training agenda for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Effective communication is important for the development of an organization. It is something which helps the managers to perform the basic functions of management: planning, organizing, motivating, and controlling. Communication skills, whether written or oral, form the basis of any business activity. Communication serves as the foundation of every facet of a business. Thus, it can be said that effective communication is the building block of an organization. Some of the benefits of effective communication skills are: communication keeps the foundation of motivation. It helps the employer to know how a job is being performed and improve performance if it is not up to the mark. Communication acts as a source of information and helps in the decision-making process and helps in identifying the alternative course of action.
To address the communications problems we identified, we determined that a communications unit must be established within the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. We determined that training for the new staff appointed to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's communication unit needs to take place. We also determined that a ministry-wide sensitization on the communication model for the public service and use of communication tools needs to take place. Based on the communication needs assessment, we determined that the information takes too long to be disseminated through the organization. Communication tools and format was not unified throughout the organization. External partners complained that too many persons at the first point of contact don't know important common knowledge information about the organization. And finally, responses to written communication either take too long or never happens at all.
It is important to note that currently the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has no designated budget line item for training. Therefore, the funding for this training was made possible by contributions from the various divisions of the ministry.
As for the training methodology, the sessions will be conducted in a classroom-styled, mixed presentation format. This will include group discussions, role plays, interactive lectures, demonstrations, and group assignments and presentations. Of the training needs identified, the training for the new staff of the new communications unit is priority. Of the 2 sessions identified, this one was selected as priority because a part of their new job description would be to sensitize the wider ministry staff on the key areas identified in the SWOT analysis. The objectives of the training is to provide a comprehensive overview of the public service communications model and the communications tool used in agencies of government to equip the newly appointed 8-member staff of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Communications Unit. This will be accomplished in a 4-day training session featuring 1. Orientation on the history and the structure of the ministry. 2. Basic public service communication protocols and standards. 3. Public service communication tools and their usage. And 4. Integrating social media platforms for external partner. Day 3 will focus on public service communication tools and their usage. This would include the appropriate format for minutes, memorandum, letters, emails, and etc. And when should they be used. This will also include appropriate greetings and closures, timeline for responding to communications, and protocols for signatories. Day 4 will include the integration of social media platforms, and this will include the usage of Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, as well as designing banners.
As a team, we together decided to conduct an organizational communication needs assessment. We intend to use the result of this assessment to design a strategy to help us address the communications gap in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. To conduct this assessment, a focus group comprising a cross-section of persons in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture was conducted. Questions were asked which solicited response to their perception of communication successes, challenges, and opportunities. Additionally, a survey was conducted with external partners and customers to determine their perception on the level of efficiency and professionalism in the communication they received from this ministry. The team and we conducted a SWOT analysis and found the strengths of the ministry to be the fact that they have a captured audience, and as an agency of the public service, there is an established communication model which includes format, language, and protocols. The use of social media in the youth division to reach external partners is also a strength that we identified. Some of the weaknesses identified was the fact that the ministry has no specific communications unit. The ministry is severely short-staffed. All of the staff are not aware of the established communications model, and the interdepartmental and intra-departmental communication needs to be improved. We identified several opportunities in the SWOT analysis, and they include the established public service accredited model for the creation of a communications division in any agency of government, the training program for staff to acquaint them on proper public service communication model, and the global use of social media to reach external partners and keep the public informed for all divisions of the ministry and not just the youth division. The threats include the demoralized staff who may not value the need for training. The size of the organization may impact the authenticity of the messages being transmitted and the geographical makeup of the organization, for example, a number of satellite stations.
Taking into consideration the theory of classical management and the bureaucratic theory, it is very evident that this theory is associated with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture as a public service agency. In the context of communication and the management of communication, information, and data, the ministry as a public service agency has a set of predetermined policies and procedure when we consider communication. For example, in a letter, there are specific markings that would link to files, previous discussions, and paper trails on any particular matter that may arise in a particular piece of communication. When emailing, as an example, there is a particular protocol. For example, in the signature of a letter, there are particular protocols regarding who has specific authority at specific rank and tenure in the organization, thus possessing authority to sign on behalf of the head of an organization. Further, in signing on behalf of the head of the organization, the permanent secretary sits as the chief operations officer. Therefore, it is with the permanent secretary's allowance that every single member of staff with that authority sign on her or his behalf. All in all, the general school of thought is that once the ministry's communications unit is established, they would be able to be the champions of rebranding and causing there to be a reform in the way the staff, the ministry as a whole, and our external partners view the communication process, which support the programs and policies and their successive execution as the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Once this unit has been assembled, its staff trained, they have a mandate to conduct a sensitization session amongst all of the staff of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to address the challenges that were identified by our partners and key persons during our focus group sessions and surveys.